Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Friday night, and it's another episode of Mariner of Spirit. I'm Greg, and I'm your host, and we've got a great guest tonight. And before we bring him on, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and mention the people that I support. And I know some people go, "Oh, this is monotonous. This is what happens all the time." Well, I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up this time. So number one of the people that I support, not in that order by any way, shape, or form, but it's the Jessica Petrie Foundation, and it's a resource for expecting mothers of families of pregnant women with mental illness. And it was established by her father, Howard Petrie. He is the man who started PUN, Paranormal United Network, and that turned into Paralanx, and now there's another name for it now. So we'll keep you informed as far as what that happens to be. But that's number one. Number two is Potographs with Tim Miley, and Potographs is another organization that supports charities of one kind or the other. And in this case, it happens to be animal shelters, things like that. The last two are the same. But Tim Miley had a situation when he was younger where he had a dog, and the dog died, and he didn't know if he was going to be able to continue on. So he had a lot of thinking to do, and he went ahead and he came up with he had a picture of him and his pooch, and decided to go ahead and take that picture and made a whole bunch of duplicates of it. And he was going to a Paracon that weekend, and he just went ahead and just took a table and went ahead and started a vendor's table and started selling them. And the money that he collected that day, he put towards a charity, and he thought he had made so much money that it was like, wow, I think maybe this isn't a bad idea, that maybe I can help save some dogs and do a good thing for the community. And so he started that out, and he's an amazing man. He's been I've been around him. He's a giant, and he's a great guy. And now with his wife Lauren, I want to say they've gone to bigger and better steps. I mean, if you get an opportunity to go to one of his events, one of the Potograph events, by all means do it, because you'll see nothing but top-notch speakers. It's always a lot of fun. The locations vary. He goes around from like Illinois, and he'll go way up into Michigan, and he'll come down and he'll go into I want to say Ohio, places like that. So if you do get the opportunity, have a fun time and tell him I said hi. Number three is PKC. That's Paranormal Kicks Cancer, and that's Chris Gaskowski and Alex Wilkinson. And they're a couple from down in Florida who basically I met. They were working an event at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, and I was doing a live show down there interviewing the friend of mine that owns it, and at the same time he brought some people in that we could talk to, and two of them happened to be Chris and Alex, and they did an amazing job, and I just thought the world of them, and I thought the world of the organization because all the money that they raise all goes to cancer research. So, and it's another one of those win-win stories where people go ahead and put forth the effort, and all that goes back into the charity of whatever they choose, which is a very neat thing. So from there, we go into the authors, the people that I support in the community, and I may be missing 4 or 5 or 6. I don't know yet. I haven't updated my list in a while, but I would start out by going ahead and saying the authors, and these are all people that have books that are currently out that you can find on Amazon and places like that. And it would be Bruce Holliday, Tobias Wayland, Adam Benedict, Kathy Kressel, Barnaby Jones, Sherilyn Cotter, Dr. Heatherly Langdon, Lynn Monet, Ron Iacovetti, Victoria Munday, Tony Rathman, Natalie Jones, Patty Negri, Sylvia Schultz, Amelia Cotter, Rex Nielsen, David Sloan, and Christina Bloom. And I want to mention that our friend Victoria Munday is working on some works right now, some books, and once she gets ready, she'll go ahead and let us know, and we'll go ahead and mention them for her. So without that, that's pretty much about it for where we're at right now. The gentleman I have on runs a group that's called the Texas Wraith Hunters, and now they're out of San Antonio, Texas, and the founding member of that group is the gentleman that I have on tonight, and that's Anthony Savalos. And here's Anthony, and I think I was okay with that time, wasn't I? Hey, Anthony.
Yeah. I'm still coughing up that lung.
You still coughing that lung up?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be smoking that.
It's all right. It's just
But
vape.
it's great to have you here. It's awesome for some of the people, not that there's people that actually don't know who you are.
Nobody knows me.
Nobody knows you, so we'll say, okay, nobody knows you. So
hey, Joanne.
If anybody's here and they don't know who Anthony is, why don't you go ahead and give them a little background of who you are and the things that you've been doing.
Wow, man, I haven't done that in a long time. Dang, I feel all nervous again. Well, I'm going by the name of Wraith, which is I'm the founder of Texas Wraith Hunters. It's a paranormal group which I have Miss Tina, the Eclectic Witch. I have Lady Mystic, which is Donna. Lurker, which is my mad scientist. All those crazy experiments that y'all see, that's the guy that comes up with it. And I also have Reggie Randall, the Star Seed. And then I got the wise one, Mr. Greg Koss, which he happens to be right there.
It was a Silver Fox, I think.
Silver Fox, Greg Koss. So that's the team. Of course, we're based out of San Antonio, Texas now. And growing slowly. And so how everybody's kind of spread out a little bit, but I got Lurker on the ground here with me. So we do the most on the ground investigations, which has been awesome. I've been here a year and about 3 months, something like that. No, a year and 3 months. Took a while, man, to get settled in and everything, but we finally started going out doing investigations. Of course, the forest was one of the main reasons, but we have all the hotels and uh, all the other places that people don't really go into. Of course, you've seen my lives. We're the ones that go into where no man goes in, and so it's been great. It's been great. We're still at it. Uh, Lurker's still coming up with all kinds of experiments and everything. Hey, Russell, and so yeah, that's it. Had a good day today. Of course, y'all know that I'm into haunted collections, so I'm always at antique stores. I was at an antique store today when Greg called me, asked me if I finally would come on Manor of Spirits, which is awesome. I finally made it to the big time, and
I would not.
and so of course I agreed. But yeah, we were out there, uh, just looking around for some more stuff. I've been asked if I got any more haunted items, and yep, of course I bought some more. Right now they're in cleansing, so I can't really bring them out.
Well, what have you been shopping for, or is there any particular object in particular that you've been
Well,
wanting to get?
well, I got into a lot of these jewelry boxes, the silver jewelry boxes, the antique ones. So I collected quite a few of them now. That was something there. I'm waiting right now on on a World War II. Was it World War II or World War I? I think it's World War I. German whistle, which is the whistles. I mean, if you ever watch the old movies when they show the old war movies of
They
the
would
Germans,
blow the whistles when they got out of the trench.
right? Or they would blow, or when they went into villages, the people that were with the Germans, they would blow that whistle for an alarm because the enemies, or the Americans, were in there, and they would blow that whistle. The villagers would, to kind of rat on the Americans, or whoever was there at the time. So those whistles, it's an actual wooden whistle made out of bone, and it's from the German War. I guess that was the 1932. I know it ended in 1933.
What was
The war with the
that? Was
Germans.
nine with the? You mean World War One?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
1917, 1918.
which is the one that was in 1933 that ended with, that was Hitler, wasn't it?
No, that then World War II started in 1941. Actually, 39 in Britain,
Right,
because Britain and Germany were going at it.
right. So the whistle is from Europe.
Oh, okay.
So it was in the 1930s. That 1933 when okay, we got the 1933 Blitzburg, right?
The Blitz.
Yeah, that was somewhere right in that area, that era. I'm trying to remember because I mean it's from that era. It's from Europe. It's back when the Germans were going into the villages and everything, and they would blow the whistles. Like I said, they were the villagers would blow the whistle, notifying to the Germans that there's somebody in there. So like they saw you and they didn't recognize you, they would blow the whistle because the Germans were doing routine routes inside. Like they'll be
Oh,
on
I
top
know.
of a window and they see you from the window. You know what I mean? They'll blow that whistle.
Well,
So
you had occupation of a lot of territory.
right,
Uh, there were not in Great Britain at all, because Great Britain, they never invaded Great Britain.
yeah,
So that was they were in France.
yeah. Well, this
And
one, it comes with everything, and it was really the SS, the ones that would come when they would blow that whistle.
it's an SS whistle.
No, no, it's a German whistle, but it's like I said, it's in the SS, the Nazi era. So like I said, the whistle was mainly like me, like us that we're here at the house. I'm on the second floor. I see someone coming in, and I would blow that whistle, and then I would notify the Nazis, who were doing who were on the ground. They would rush in and see what's going on. So it's kind of,
Okay.
what I mean, an alarm. That's what they use. So it's from that era. Like I said, it's made out of bone. Now I don't know if it's human bone yet or not. So that's one that I'm kind of a little excited and waiting to see what that's going to be.
One of our members is down on the bottom. He came in. Did you see that?
Yeah, what's up, Lurker? Barbara?
Lurker,
Yeah,
Barbara,
he's lurking. He's got his eyes
Russell
on.
Reynolds, Rebecca's here,
They're watching to see
Joanna
what I'm doing.
Stewart,
They're watching to see what I'm going to do and say.
Tim Fester,
Yeah.
Carol, Barbara.
Well, I'm going to behave, Lurker, because I'm on a nice show. So, but that's one thing there that I'm excited for, to add it to the collection. Of course, I'm going to blow it. I might blow it somewhere in one of these places. I don't know yet.
Well,
Right.
have you had any reaction to the old whistle that death whistle that you had?
Yeah, that death whistle. Yeah, that one. I have two of them.
You have one right there.
Yeah, in fact, one is right
Good.
here. This is the Aztec whistle. That one has. This comes from. It comes from Mexico. Comzul, I think it is. This is a clay, so it's not your 3D printing one. This is a real one. This one, I've got some really good reactions, and then I got another one that's an actual Aztec death whistle. So that one right there has been pretty cool. The other one we use it to scare the crap out of the kids in the forest. Yeah, Lurker's got one too, man. He's good at that.
That's scaring them
Yeah,
out of
we
their
got
mind.
we got to kick them out of the forest, man. They're just there doing no good. But yeah, those are some of the things. Um, I can't help myself. I mean, I like this. I like this stuff. So
Oh, that's
everybody's been
cool.
behaving. All my dogs are behaving. Everything. I think it was just maybe it was just one of those bad nights, just like us. We have a bad day. We go off on somebody or whatever. Didn't really mean to, but it's just one of those things. Sometimes you don't know what people are going through at the time. So I think this is the same way with them. My former dolls were just having a bad night, and they just happened to go off on me. So these here have been pretty quiet, and it's like I was saying the other night. I have so many things now, and in each room, and throughout the house. And I mean, I've never had anything fly around or anything. Everybody pretty much behaves. You
It's
know,
turning into a museum of sorts.
it actually is, and I'm still have my eyes on that. That once I relocate to another house, that's why I'm looking for a certain house because I still would like to have something like that
One
down,
room with everything in it.
downstairs. Yeah, because right now this room has the most. My room does, and but of course there's way more. There's stuff more throughout the house. My furniture, man, is from the 1835.
Right.
So it's that's downstairs on the first one. I think I had that when you showed up, right?
Yeah, we saw it. You went ahead and showed it to us. We were live,
Okay.
and you showed the white furniture, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, that one's 1835, I think it is. So that's pre-Alamo. So it's pretty cool. Of the butts that have sat in that in those couches. you know. But yeah, that's where I'm at. You know,
Lurker says, "Let's combine the whistle noises."
yeah, we'll do it, Lurker. You still haven't heard my other one, so we'll put them together here pretty soon.
Carol says, "Have a great evening, everyone."
Yeah.
Okay, Carol.
And so yeah, it's just like I said, it's just been it's been good. It's had its ups and downs like everything, but it's just part of life. What can you do? You have no
You
control over some things.
you've done an amazing job. You know, you've kept the nucleus together. There's people that are in the group that really enjoy the group, and I enjoy the group, and I'm glad. I wish I was closer, but that's why I'm up here.
Yeah,
And I'm close to Mr. Reggie Randall. And when it comes to time, we're going to do some cemeteries, I hope,
yeah,
and then we'll be able to pass that on. You have a video here, and
yeah.
do you want to just show it and then
We
tell
can,
people
like I
about?
said, I don't know really which one this is, but it kind of led me a while ago. We're talking about, what to talk about, and so
Okay.
something just did pop up in my head in during the introduction. Uh, but well, we can play this one. Really, it's short. I think it's short.
Okay, I'll do that.
What's up, Quan?
Show everybody.
Wait, so it was really down?
Yeah, we just walked in and it was down.
And y'all been setting up for like over an hour.
Hopefully we could cut it on the ring camera.
It doesn't.
Oh yeah, let me ask Sam.
Honey. Okay, it's bizarre.
Yeah, there's the clown
Alright, I guess they want to make their points.
Like her.
and the doll.
Okay, so
Sarah the doll.
Um,
Yeah, they said it was a short one there. That
Okay.
was at a store here in San Antonio that myself, Lurker, and our other friend Evie was in it. Um, that big doll in the coffin. That coffin was a real child coffin, and they put the doll in it. So the clown. What I've heard about it is that it's got its own spirit and everything. That clown was made by one of the guys who makes the dolls for Zach Bagans, and so he made that doll. Hey, it was Lurker. That's how fast time goes, man. It don't stop for nothing, man. I mean, so that was a pretty cool. That was cool. What's up, Karen? And uh, that was pretty. That was a pretty cool investigation. That clown, I forgot his name, but yeah, he was pretty active. They both were. Both dolls were, and it's a part of this. It's a part of their museum that they have in the back of the store. Uh, so that was a pretty interesting one. And like I said, if I would have, I have forgotten and I didn't put anything together. 'Cause usually we don't do that, but I'm gonna start too. Like when I start off my podcast, I was thinking of just bringing up some stuff like that and some videos of the thing that we're doing. Because I know I'm pretty quiet a lot of times and I don't
Well,
show anything.
that
You know.
that the important part is you're here. The second part is the fact that if there's things that trigger with you as far as other videos and things like that, that you get them together, and we'll have a show number two, and you can share a lot more of the videos with the people,
Yeah.
and that way, they get a little better idea of the man, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're quite a creator.
What's up, Yvette? Kim? Well, that brings me to that point, Greg. Is that um, I'll be I guess as nice as I can be about this one. It's like,
Well,
oh crap,
no, you know what? You're Anthony, and
it's the wraith.
it's the Wraith, and the Wraith is a refined Wraith. He's evolved now.
Yeah,
Just like Mothra.
yeah, I've evolved. I grew the wings now.
Yep. Now you're getting just like how could we say the one what's the one Mothman.
Yeah. So
Right.
my thing was that, when it comes to these objects, because like I said, I'm asked this. I had a person earlier message me and asked me about my stuff, and it's like, what have you gotten new or anything? And I said, well, actually, I'm out here in an antique store, just scouting out some things. Like I said, I really don't kind of. It's just that something pops out at me. What I mean, something will speak to me, grab my attention, and if I feel connected to it, I'll get it. You know, that's just the way I go. I'm not really specifically looking for dolls. I have to kind of put myself on a leash in that because I don't need $1,000. You know what I mean? So, but on that subject, right now we have Annabelle the doll down here in San Antonio. I think they're doing a Spirit Fest tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow because she just got here. I think today. She's down here with Ryan Buell. I don't know if y'all
Okay. Yes.
remember him from way back.
From
So he's
Paranormal State.
yeah. So he's down here. Tour actually they're touring Annabelle. They just left New Orleans. They were down there. They were down the East Coast before that, and now they landed here. This is the second time they brought her down here. And not with Ryan. Oh, I don't. Last year was something different, but so my question was and I started to see things on TikTok about this, about people that live here in San Antonio, and it's like, the Warrens. It said that the Warrens specifically left instructions never to take these items out of the museum. Now, like I said, I'm not looking for no backlash or nothing like that. It's just a discussion. But because I've gotten a lot of slack because of my stuff. Okay, I don't take mine out though. They're here. I don't take them on investigations. I don't need anything else more on them that they already have. You know, but taken for what this doll is supposed to be, kind of like Robert the doll. Okay, so she's up there in that category of dangerous. You know, So, I mean, they got to handle her with mittens, with gloves, I mean, for whatever, I'm just saying with everything that they show. Uh, so the thing is with me is like, okay, you have this item that was even the story back when Ed was alive about the guy who started making fun of it. The guy, he was on a motorcycle. He left there. I think he got killed or something. He was making fun of Annabelle. Okay, so that's why they boxed her up or whatever, and kept her contained in there. Nothing was supposed to be leaving that museum because the museum is sealed itself. Okay, so now we have this doll that I'm just saying, I'm just going on that is real and it's cursed. And it's not like some of the dolls that just may have a trapped spirit or something like that. Maybe someone just one of the spirits people, we look at spirits of people, maybe just jumped into the doll, whatever. This is supposed to be an actual demon, as they call it, right? The Annabelle is possessed by a demon. Okay, not a human spirit, nothing else, an actual demon, if I'm correct. Okay, and so why would you want to tour that? Why would you want to take that, and then especially like to New Orleans for one, San Antonio, which is haunted like crazy, you know.
Yeah.
These are two haunted cities, like they're not like any other cities. Uh, and then you're gonna take it and show it to people, some paranormal people, but the public, and the public doesn't have the same mentality as we do. Most of us, they're gonna challenge it. They're gonna go in and say, "Ah, I mean, I don't care about this dumb doll. Let me see you do something," because they're ignorant to these things that we know. So they're gonna challenge it, just like that guy did on the motorcycle. And there was other people too that have had their encounters and had bad things happen to them after they go, just like with Robert the doll. So, but yet having it in one place like that, confined, however you're gonna confine it, but now taking it out to city, and you have people come in and pay to watch it. I mean, to go look at it, and it's like that they're gonna have some people are gonna challenge this doll. So if a person leaves that place that you just went to, it is there showcasing, and they die, isn't that your fault? I mean, I'm just saying it kind of like that. Didn't you just cause this? It's kind of like you're bringing innocent people that don't know any better, really, because the public doesn't. The public itself that has no idea about paranormal. They're into scary movies. They have a mindset like that, not like us that we know things are real. You know, they're gonna challenge it. I would challenge it if I didn't know any better. If I went in there and said, okay, I want to go see this dog because it's scary. Well, what's so scary about you, Annabelle? If I could probably poke her eyes, I would, you know, because that's the public. But that's what you're doing. You're touring a demonic, according to Annabelle and their handlers, you are touring a demonic possessed object. So to me, what are your thoughts on that? The paranormal is one thing, you know what I mean, to have paranormal fest and all these kind of things. But what this is what it's just like you're setting up people for what? So is she real or not?
You see what Lurker says. That doll gonna cause the spirits to go wild. Just a theory. It can cause chaos because there's some sort of level of authority that's across the board as far as the spirits are concerned. And if you bring something in that's out of the ordinary, which is once again what you had mentioned, because a lot of people feel there's not a real lot of those around compared to spirit, as far as that D word. And I don't even like to even mention the word because I understand it's got higher threats to it, to somebody that's going to use it. Somebody's going to use it and they're going to use it incorrectly. They're not going to use it with the proper respect, and it's going to deem somebody to go ahead and be in trouble. And just like what had happened, and I'll just bring it up, that the other show that's on TV, there's a gentleman that has the museum. And the other gentleman that was part of the museum too is Tony Spira. And he's the one that brought that doll down there to Bacon's Museum. And I imagine that a lot of people here watched that episode and they know what had happened because he tried to challenge it, just like what you had said. And that was the end of it. That's when Spira pretty much put the doll back in the piece of luggage and took it out before something happened. And that's where the bottom line is. Now with San Antonio, do you feel in your heart that having that doll down there can cause that kind of danger to people?
I mean, some people have, and like I said, I've had stuff pop up on my messenger and stuff like that, asking me, and it's like, hey, as I just look at it as kind of like, if this doll is not a regular doll, or like a regular spirit that's just in a doll, because we go to these haunted places or these active places. Not everything that we go into, like they always say, right? Not everything is a negative spirit. Okay,
Right.
I'll refrain from using that word. So not everything is that dark spirit. Okay, well, but sometimes it is. Every now and then it can be one in there, but this doll is already categorized as a demonic doll. The thing that's in it is not a human spirit. Okay. And so for me, it's almost kind of like where is the, we talked about before the paranormal, how it's changed, how much just there's so much drama, hatred, jealousy, you know, all this stuff in the paranormal, when it's all about spirit communication. It's not about who's bigger than who, or you're jealous of somebody. Put in the work and you'll probably be like that. I don't know. But the thing is so where is this paranormal going now that we reached the point that we're taking literally Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted Bundy on tour and
Uh,
expect nothing to happen?
I don't see Dahmer, or if there was a Dahmer doll, or if there was a Bundy doll. I don't. There's that's the fine red line.
No, what I mean by that is like you actually took them. You took them out of their cell when they were alive.
Oh,
You
that way.
you took them out of their cell and you took them on tour and expect nothing to happen.
Well, there
And,
would be
and,
a
and
lot.
then you gave them, you took the shackles off inside this room, and you bring all these people to see a serial killer. What is it? Ask them questions. What do you? So how did you get this way, Jeffrey? How did you get this way, Charlie? You know what I mean? What were you thinking or anything? You're able to speak to them with no shackles, no walls, no nothing, in a room. So
Well,
it's kind of like that. I mean, you're bringing something, because the energy that this, if she is real, and you're bringing them to these paracons and these paranormal fests. And like I said, me and you may say it's like you and we talked about Robert the Doll. You'll stay away from Robert the Doll, but the person next to you, the next 10 kids behind you, the next seven, the other 20-year-olds, 17-year-olds that are behind you in line, they're not going to see it that way.
the first time I saw Robert was in the house that the boy grew up in, his parents' house, and it was sitting on a shelf, just sitting out, just sitting right there. I could have reached right out and touched him, but I just looked at him. And the next thing is 30 years later, he's in the museum, and he's in a plexiglass box. He's on his rocking chair, and he's got his little teddy bear. And the people that go by, and this is all documented by I'm trying to remember, Dave Allison, I want to say, is his last name. And Dave is the gentleman that owns Robert. And he gave Robert to the museum in Key West. And that doll is in this plexiglass box. You can't touch him. Okay. And they tell you that you use the utmost respect. If you want to take his picture, you ask permission.
From
And
Robert.
from Robert. Ask permission from Robert. Can I take your picture, Robert? And I followed those orders, and I consider them to be orders. It's just what the people that are been around Robert know what can happen. Now, what is really crazy about this is when I talked to him the last time, since Robert has been moved to the museum, they get stacks of mail. They get stacks of mail that are all addressed to Robert. To please, they beg Robert to go ahead and please don't, not anymore, Robert. I'm sorry. I should have asked you permission. I'm asking for your mercy. Please do not attempt anymore whatever you're doing with me. And it was that kind of,
Yeah.
I can't quote it because I can't read it, but there were tons of these letters. that they get. And I mean, anything, to me, anything in 1 year's period of time over 10 letters, there's something really radically wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
And these were hundreds of letters that were sent in by people that had been down in Key West, that had been loaded, drank too much, got in there by Robert and said, "Well, hey, Robert, sit on it." Okay, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And next thing you know, these things are going wrong. And there's plenty of testimonies if you went to Robert's site and went through it and looked at
Well,
it.
the same goes with Annabelle, you know.
Yeah, the same thing.
But
Same thing.
well, that's what I'm saying is. But so, what is this? What is this now? I mean, you know, I'm pretty sure that if they ran across this podcast, and because I live here and everything else, and I'm in the paranormal, and I know most of these people that have it, and or they're conducting these fests, and it's like, you know, is this just for money or what? Because the thing is, or this is entertainment now. You know, you're bringing something that shouldn't even be brought out. You know, it should be, you know, it should be put away the way it was put away. If that's what it really is, and you like you're claiming that it is, what are you doing bringing it out into the public?
Well, I think there's a challenge there, and there's a challenge to the people that originally said don't take it out, the Warrens. And as far as I'm concerned, the Warrens were the ones that made the rules because they knew of the doll. They're not going to go ahead and say anything like that without having any just cause.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Is so where are we at now with this? Because it seems to me like the paranormal and I've been around a long time on this, you know, and um, I don't get it. I don't get it to where I mean, yeah, I mean, I could go down there. I could go down there and go see the doll, but I'm not really interested in seeing the doll. You know, um, you know, not that I'm afraid of it or anything. I'm just not interested in go seeing the doll. And but the thing is that if it's the claims are correct on what they've claimed, what the Warrens claim, what Tony Spirits claim, and like I said, don't hate me, you know, don't hate me because I got enough hate as it is. I'm trying to bring something to light that is like, okay, if this is real, then what are you doing? Are you doing it just to bring it to a because it's a paranormal show? What does this has to do with really paranormal investigating, communicating with spirit, you know, helping spirits if they need any help to bring something that is not even a spirit, it's demonic, and you're putting it in front of people and you're bringing the food into this thing. What if it
We
attaches to an 8-year-old kid?
what we need, not that you and I need to do this, but there has to be a consciousness that's created by the people in the paranormal community that go ahead and address this and say, is this the direction that we want to go in?
Exactly. That's
Do
what I'm trying to say.
and I knew because I was reading your mind. Okay.
Well, watch out when you get in there.
And yeah, I know. I almost fell off the edge there for a second. But that's the point, that the community in its own right, it's a community. Everybody has a voice. The people that brought that doll down to San Antonio, to me, and this is my show, and I'm going to say it. I think they were wrong. I think they were wrong in the respect that, number one, 90% of the people that are in San Antonio have no idea who Annabelle was or is today. Okay. They don't have a clue. They're down there on the riverfront, and they're
Yeah.
drinking and having a good time. Hey, let's go see that friggin' doll. They
There
don't
you
even
go.
call it, they don't even call it by its name.
Right. There you go.
Okay. And, everything that was presented to us in the paranormal community was, you have to show respect. no matter what the spirit is, that you have to start with the respect. You have to treat that spirit or whatever it happens to be, whether it happens to be of the dark side, like you mentioned, but you remember that the light and the dark cross over. So they could be one and the same. And here you go, and you got a bunch of people to come in there. And like you said, if one kid gets harmed, something happens to one child, who's going to answer to that? Oh, well, you can't have the doll answer to it, can you?
Yeah.
So who are you going to go after? You're going to go after Brian Buell because he was the one that brought the doll down? I bet you Brian Buell was praying a lot. That's for sure. I bet you he has probably 10 crucifixes on and medals on him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us that carry medals, and I still have mine.
Yeah.
I don't go anywhere without that.
And I'm for it. I'm for a lot of things. Because I said I have my own ideas that I'm still bringing into play here in a little while. Here in San Antonio, and then when we have ghost tours, we have the ghost tours for the hotels, the Alamos, cemeteries, which are good. I mean, it's good for this to talk about the history of what happened here. There are apparitions, there are spirits that are wandering around, but to me, it's just because of this particular one, knowing that it's a murderous thing. I mean, I have one back there. But it's only been out one time in 25 years, and I took it out. But I took it out here, and it's never been. I don't take her on investigations. She stays right there in that corner in that box back over there. And just noted where she came from and who she is, but she stays in there. I'm not going to take her out on investigations. I'm not going to take her out anywhere. Maybe somebody might see her one of these days and it'll be in my museum, but I'm not going to tour it around from city to city. It's kind of like, what are you doing? I understand you're paranormal. I understand you used to be a paranormal investigators or whatever, but what does this have to do with this? We're supposed to lock these things up. Either lock them up or banish them. But because right now, and it's sad to me because it goes to some really nice places here in San Antonio, really historical places that they showcase this. So is it just for money? Is it just bread and butter? That's all it is.
Yeah.
Is this what it really is? And a lot of times to me it's like, is that why y'all don't like me? Because I tell the truth like that? Because I confront it? Because I'm not doing it for no money. I'm not doing it for anything like that. I do it to show that there is an afterlife, to prove that there is an afterlife. This is not it. This is not the end, and we get, as you're on the team, we get real communication without no fakery or filters or anything, so to me, it's like, this is what these paracons and these parafests, whatever you want to call them, have become. This is what they are, just rubbing elbows with a click, like who's in it? When is it going to stop? And somebody's going to get up and say, enough is enough of this. Let's get back to the real goal of what we do. It's not about being on TV and stuff like that and whatever. If you get what show, great, but show the real thing, and then you're out here doing this like this. Because I know people here in San Antonio, and I know what they're going to do. They're going to go in and say, F off, Annabelle, you don't do nothing to me. I'm not scared of you. Okay. And like I said, you have a documented encounter with the Warrens, right there. So isn't that enough? Why would you want to bring this from one city to the next? I mean, So to me, I said this to someone the other day. I said, it's almost like, did the doll possess you to get her out? So that she possessed the people and she's controlling the people because now she got out. She escaped. She may still be in the box, but she's out. Or it's out. And it's out in the world now. That's what it's always wanted.
You see, I have an opinion. you are an authority because you have had dolls now for how long? Quite a while.
And I got some
And
major ones.
so you aren't just average Joe
There she is,
when it
one right
comes
there.
when it comes to
That's
dolls.
your favorite back there.
I don't even want to look at her, Anthony. That's quite all right. I but I'm saying that's why people like you need to be heard. You're the guy that
Yeah, but it
that
don't always
well,
work that way.
Anthony, that's where I sit on it. I could give a what about anybody else that has another opinion because I understand what you're saying, and that's exactly what's going on. And I don't have any clue why. When they combined. Now here's another one. This is very close, but it's something that you were at, and this was New Orleans. Now, how do you take not only the paranormal field, but you take all that other black magic and you take the all the stuff that's in New Orleans and it's all together at one time. Don't you? It's almost like you're creating some sort of bomb that if it goes off,
You're creating this big bomb that you just said, and then they just took Annabelle there.
yeah. And that's what I'm getting at is the fact that it's beyond just what they created with combining everything together there.
I guess it's the message. What is the message that the paranormal community or the paranormal is sending out there?
I don't know.
What is it now? What
I
is it now?
I think they have to address it. I think the people that everybody thinks is an authority in the paranormal community, the people that not actually I wouldn't say are the ones. If you went to people that I would go to all the Dow people, okay,
Well, I know a
that
lot. I
that
know
that,
another
that
one that
okay, and you can go to Greg and Dana Newkirk. They've been around with Dows for a long, long time too, and they've been around the Warrens or knew of the Warrens. I don't think they knew them, but they know. And then you've got all the people that were at the Paracon today that I saw, and one of them is the Haunted Collector. That was I can't think of his name right now.
John Mathis.
Okay, and you look at him, and I would say myself, I would love to have him on, and I've been trying, and I hope I'm going to be able to get him on because Johnny Zaffis was doing basically the same thing that the Warrens did with theirs. Johnny Zaffis had his own basic museum where he took things that were haunted
Yeah,
and put them in glass bottles and things like that to keep all that energy caught so it couldn't seep out. And they were bound or binding or whatever it's
yeah,
called.
yeah. It's like my big curio over there where I got all the other stuff in it. That thing is sealed. Those doors are sealed. You
It's
talk
that's
about that. You
that's
talk about the crystals and the amulets. It's sealed. It's not. You can see inside, but it's not to be open.
that's where that has to be addressed. I think,
Yeah, but then
and there's
it's,
there's more than the Newkirks.
yeah, it's
You
like
know,
right now, like for me, where I live at, the reason why I moved here was because of the paranormal here. Um, it's one of the main reasons, and it's just the stuff that I've already seen and everything, and the people that I've dealt with, the crap that I dealt with already. It's like this is not really gonna set well with them anyways. But I really don't care anymore because I'm not into that. Like some people think or whatever. It's just no different than when we went and did a house here in Texas too, a while back, and we used the board. Yes, and me and my mentor and his group, and we had those girls come through, and then we couldn't release them, get them released because when he told me that we had asked permission from the owners to remove that dark air entity that was holding on to them, which was their main attraction at that house. You know, so and we just couldn't go in and do it, and they told us don't banish anything here. You can come and investigate it, and it was a big thing. It was a lot of other investigators there, and we happened to communicate with the four girls that were there from the time that it was a brothel, and we couldn't banish it because, like he told me, because we have to ask permission. And I said, "What do you mean we have to ask permission? Why can't we just do it?" It's because that's their bread and butter. That's just the ugly side of the paranormal, you know. And I had a hard time with it because it was really emotional for me because I connected with two of those girls, and it took me a long time to get past that. And to me, it's like this is not a joke. This is not
No.
something. Some of us do this. We do it with passion, and we do it because not just to be out there or whatever. Yeah, if you get popular or you grow, okay, that's great. But but when it comes to you know, certain things. That's why I don't show everything that's in the forest. And you know this because you're on my team and you know me personally. That I said a number of times. Lurker knows this. That there's many things that we encounter, and we if we showed on film, it would blow every freaking show that you've seen. And I don't do it because I'm not going to exploit that place like that. It's not just so race hunters can shoot up, and become the next Zach Baggins or whatever the hell, you know, because I'm not going to do it. Not even though people have hounded me already for a while, we want to, why don't you show it? Why don't you show it? It's just because I'm not. If you want to see it, then go. I'll take you there if you want to. If you want me to go, you'll be a lot safer. I tell you that. But you can go in by yourself if you want. Many have done it, and many have gotten their ass whooped, and they're lucky that that's all they got. But like Lurker knows this. That we could really pop that open, but it's going to be exploited and taken the wrong way. So I'm not going to disrespect the natives that are there. I'm not going to disrespect their history, the things that happened to them in that way, just for to be popular.
It all shows that there's different elements, like in the societies in the United States. There's all different elements of that society. There's people with different beliefs, different teachings, all the way down the line, and it's also involved in what we do. And I think it's up to the individuals who choose to find someone that has the same belief system, that does the same type of investigations, that uses the same kind of respect for the spirits that they happen to run into, because that's important to us. It's important to me. It's important to you. Now, somebody else can come in there and they could blow the whole lid right off the house just by being absolute morons. And, I'm not, I don't care about if anybody thinks that that's the wrong thing to say about people. If people don't go ahead and have the same belief system, they're not going to go ahead and come up with the same result.
Yeah.
You know,
And
and
and,
it,
and let me cut you off, but I know when this gets out here, it doesn't make me very popular here in San Antonio. It's not gonna make me popular because it's the big wigs that are here too. You know what I mean? That are here with their own businesses doing this, which I say is great. But where are you going to draw the line with certain things? Because you know, and these people know if this is real, like y'all they claim it is. I understand you have your own things in your own house that are real. That's why there's this a tourist attraction too, which is cool. Like I said, I don't have nothing against that. I'll have my own also. It's what I've been wanting to do. But I'm not gonna bring something like that. If this is real, if Annabelle is real and it's as powerful as the Warrens said, right? Okay, all the respect to the Warrens that people have for them. If they were real and this was real, why are you bringing something like that out into the public? I know,
There, there,
I know that it's tempting. I know that it's tempting. Like I said, I have a gold mine literally that I could put out there, and even some of the photos that I've even shown you from the manga, are perfectly shadow soldiers. I mean, that you can. I hadn't even seen one like that on any shows, and but I won't do it because I know what's going to happen. It's gonna go the wrong way, like Lurker said right there. That it will turn it into a tourist attraction. I
right.
don't want the forest into a tourist attraction. It's not fun what happened to the natives, to my people there. You know what I mean? It's not. It was something terrible that was done in this city alone. What happened to the people in this land?
Well, it
And
goes it goes well beyond that too.
right, so
Centuries.
and I do have footage of a lot of things, even to the portal that I showed you when we first met. There's a portal opening. Who's shown that on a video? You know, and it's like and I've been investigating this place for over 3 years now. I live here and I go there all the time alone at 1 in the morning, at 10, whatever times of the day. I'm in the forest by myself sometimes. Lurker doesn't always go with me because I have my own personal connection there. So I go. That's why I moved here. So it's like, don't you think that this guy probably has seen some more things in there, has been shown things because I don't come at it the same way like the very first time that I did. I like you said, I established that respect with them, and they taking me into their tribes, and yeah, they're gonna show you a lot of things that are, like I said, gold mines in the paranormal. But I'm not gonna show it because I already know what's gonna happen. So I just try to tell the story as best that I can without showing you exactly everything because it's gonna, like you said, society. It was what it's gonna turn it into in this paranormal society that it's become. The shows are cool, man. The paranormal fests are cool, but damn, man, you're bringing something like that into the people to go. And like you say, there's kids that go to these places, whether a kid is 8 years old or 18 years old. It doesn't matter. There's gonna be some dummies that are gonna go in there and challenge this Robert the dog type. And what's gonna happen after that? Also, you
Right.
can further your career, or you can come back to the paranormal because you've been washed out for a long time because of your mistakes that you made. So now you see an opening that you can jump on this thing because it's got movies behind it or whatever. That's what I mean. Where's the line that we draw that somebody can say this? Like, you can have your business and everything, but damn, man, you're really putting this out there like that. That if somebody gets hurt, one person gets hurt. If she's as bad as she says, they say she is, right? Okay. I know 45 is pretty bad, but I'm not going to get it and point it in my face,
Right.
you know? and so that's what gets me. That's what's kind of got me right now, where I'm kind of riled up about it, and I won't
Well,
go. I won't go.
that's why you're here too, because there are people that are interested in what makes you tick and what makes the paranormal community tick and the groups tick. Lurker and you and me and the rest of the people that are in the hunters. we have talked about things like this, not constantly, and I think this is a time that there should be consensus made where we all go ahead and get out together and do basically, like, for instance, not only on our level, but on the community's level, and do roundtables on the same subject. Because this affects, whether we want to admit it or not, like you said, it's going to affect everybody. It's just not going to be us, because everybody's going to sit there and think the same things.
Yep.
And they're not going to be man enough to go ahead and put their big boy pants on and say, hey, this is wrong. You can't continue to operate or investigate in the community and do things that are bad before something happens to you.
All right. Now, granted, there'll be some people where you go this. Yes, we do. We, like I say, me and Lurker, because we're the foot on the ground, and among another person that I have with me also, we do put ourselves in some really bad positions, but that's because of the land, not just the land, the people that have been going to these places for years and doing sacrifices, doing rituals, summoning other things. They're there, but we're not there to connect with them. We're there to connect with the spirits that are like some of these places. People come up missing, so we try to connect with the missing people because they never found them in these parks. Okay, some of these parks they do have people that go in there and still do, to this day right now, do rituals and everything. So we put ourselves in that position to try to communicate. We have to go through that, and we're just ones that, like myself, are not afraid to go that far to communicate with that missing person that came up in that park. If this is what we got to go through, then we're going to go through it. Now, I'm not saying that everybody should. I know that a lot of people say that they do or whatever, but as soon as something crackles in the freaking over here in the bushes or in the no, hear a knock, they run like I don't know what. Well, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. It may, like they say, it may be good content for TV, but this ain't TV. So that's the reason why we go out there and we do get into these places where most none of these people do, which is fine. We'll do it, but we're doing it to communicate with the little boy that was murdered in one of these parks, where the girl was sacrificed, or joggers have come up missing. You know, I have people on my team that do cold cases. You know, so this is what we do it for. That's her department. So this is where we go to take her in there because she doesn't live here just like you do, but we could do it remotely. So in chances that maybe she can communicate with this person, maybe they're buried there, and maybe we'll find the body there. You know, but we have to go through this front line of humans and put ourselves in that danger. But that's how real we are, that we're willing to put that ourselves on the line to do it. You know, and even from that place, we don't show a lot of things. Because it's just it be taken wrong. And so that's what I'm just saying. For me, it's like I just don't get it. And I know these are some big ballers, big TV people that have been on TV. So of course they're the voice of paranormal. They're the authorities of paranormal because they had a show, you know, which to me means nothing because this doesn't mean that you do anything for real, you know.
Right.
I would say to Ryan, go with me to the forest. And I'm not picking on Ryan. I'm picking on any of them, any of these big paranormal people. They've come down here and they've done the houses. I said, and we're not gonna film. How about that? I don't want you to film. I'll take you, uh, ghost hunter, guy, whatever the ghost hunters. It doesn't matter. Zach. It don't matter. Any of them. We're not gonna film. That I can tell you that. But I'll take you some places in here. and we're gonna
Well,
see
there's a
what
reason.
happens.
There's a reason why a lot of them don't go to certain places. And the same thing can be said about the uh, now I forgot the ranch. You got the ranch, and then you got the other place that's next to
Walker
it,
Ranch.
and then you got the blind frog or the whatever
Oh
that.
yeah, that's one of that's the Skinwalker Ranch is the one place that I would love to go, and I still think that I'm gonna have the opportunity to go here pretty soon, maybe in another couple of years or whatever. Once I really get settled in here,
But
I'm
you
definitely gonna go.
but you can't get into it because
Uh,
it's all fenced.
well, this is where communication comes in.
Right, you got
Get
to
a hold
be
of the
able to
right,
ask
get a hold of the right,
permission.
yeah, get a hold of the right people, and I'm pretty sure you can get in. Sometimes,
So if anybody's got any questions, I'm sure somebody probably does.
yeah.
Go ahead and post
And I'm
them on
telling you,
top.
this is really tricky here because I probably won't be liked. But you know what? I don't give a flip. If this
But
is what
not
if this is
no,
what y'all
not
want to do, if this is what they want to do, and they want to, whatever, man.
anybody that is going to be opinionated to that extent and go ahead and start holding anything over anybody's head about this is being ridiculous anyway. Russell Reynolds, that's in here too, is on the show, and he's related to the Warrens and a lot of the people on the East Coast. So he's been there, and he uses the utmost respect when he speaks about the doll too. And we've talked numerous times, and that's the kind of thing that I'm glad to see him in here. And Russell, if you want to put a comment down on the bottom, go right ahead, my friend. And that it's to no avail, when you really think about it, because what we want and what the world wants is always two different things.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? We may be going in with a pure heart, trying to go ahead and do things in a good light, and we're going to get tarnished every time.
that's what it seems like.
And that's what it amounts to.
It,
But
it, I've reached almost a point there a couple of days ago that I notified some of my members is that you know what I'm almost to the point now where I know some people will probably be happy about it, but I'm not doing it for that reason. The reason why I'm doing it is like I feel like this was a lot calmer and a lot more enjoyable before I started coming out on this camera. When we did it for ourselves, I had a mentor at one time, uh, not a ghost hunter mentor. Um, uh,
spiritual.
yeah, more of a spiritual mentor in different practices, put it that way. And the one and he does some pretty wild exorcisms. I mean, they're real. They're real. I mean, that is real. I know they say, what the negative, that part of the negative is far and wide. It's a lot more than what you think. He's just not in the right place. And they go do some stuff that, man, would be some awesome movies, you know.
Well,
But
there's
they
to bring to
never.
bring to bring something up. It's what I saw that was live with you, and this goes back quite a bit ago, and that's exactly what had happened with you.
Yeah,
You remember that?
yeah.
Okay, so
And I
you have
never
come,
and I never posted it.
and you have come a long way, my friend. and your heart is grown immensely, and you have your wife, and you have your kids, and they see what you do, and it's dad, dad, dad. Be careful.
Yeah,
And what else can you do?
right. But what I was saying, and I appreciate that. I think about it sometimes, but that just goes to show, like I said, some of us are really real and passionate about this. We're not doing it for some other dumb reason, you know. And but his group, and he showed me, and I've been with them a couple of times. The stuff that they do was just amazing. It was straight out of a movie, you know. I mean, this was years and years ago, and he told me, he says, this is why I don't come out on podcasts. I don't do podcasts. I don't do any of this stuff, social media, because what we do is between me and the clients, and it's to help the clients, to help the person that's under this influence or their child is under this influence. Um, you know, and those were some major things. There was one investigation that I helped them on remotely where a a dark being. Because I do call them what I call them, but sometimes, but it was a fire starter, and he burned their house down the first time. He caught one of the family members on fire. They moved, and it followed them to their next house because they will follow you. We know this. Those spirits can follow you. Doesn't matter where you go. It's almost like what we hear where you become haunted. The place is not haunted. You're haunted, and it followed them to their next house and started catching things on fire there. There are spirits like that. They're fire starters. They burn things. They'll burn you down. When I connected with that spirit, because he asked me, because he already knew. He just wanted kind of to see where I was at, because like I said, he was my mentor. When I connected with that being, it told me that it had a contract with them, because their former grandparents had given them in a contract, so it was generational. So legally, he had a right to those people. You know what I mean? Because there was a contract made. This thing was, and I don't want to say all the time that it's ugly because it's not always like that. But I seen it, and I told him, I says, well, this is what it is. He has a contract, which it was correct, and then it nearly killed his partner. It killed her dog. They were doing the investigating, so it attacked them. It killed her dog, attacked her, where she had contracted some kind of disease that the doctors couldn't figure out what it was, but it came from those investigations at that house. You know, see, so this is the kind of stuff like you start seeing in movies. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
storyline. You really don't run into people like this out here. Everybody's all hi, whatever, boo boo, whatever. I'm just saying. So, but he goes, out of all the hundreds of investigations that I've done and all the people that I've helped, that we have helped, n- nobody will ever know because it's not for them to know.
Right.
This is personal. This is between me and the clients. And he goes, this is what real paranormal is. And of course it is. Everybody wants to be accepted. Everybody wants to be liked and all this kind of thing. It's a natural thing. So now that we have social media and the phones and everything, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got its cool thing. The podcast got its cool thing, but on certain aspects, it's not for that. Like this, you know, that's really helping people. So I started to feel like, you know what, I like that, because I have stuff that I don't. That's stuff that we have done 30 years ago, and we don't. I don't have any film. I really don't care. I don't need to prove it to somebody or to make them believe me. I don't have it because we didn't film, and I just recently started to film maybe 3 years ago when I came on this with the podcast. I started to show some things, And even then, as Looker knows, we have cameras. I have cameras. I have equipment. We go into these places, and most of the time, I don't even take it out. I said, dude, I don't even know why I bring them in my backpack. I mean, they just slowing me down. But it's that's the thing is how I've just been feeling. How now after seeing this and seeing everything that's here, the awesomeness that's in San Antonio, but there's just so much trash too. And I know people may not like that the way I'm saying it, but it is. You're trashing the whole thing, by doing things stunts like this that I don't know what you're doing, you know,
Yeah.
and you don't want to hear it. You really don't want to hear. You like it. You like your money. You like the money that you make out of it, you know. But
Well, they all figured that that's the way to do it, and it's too damn bad that they have to go ahead and carry it that way because it should be everybody in the community, not just what they want. If they're
yeah,
the ruling party, then they, you know, what the heck?
I don't know.
I'm just looking at something.
Yeah,
I think we've got a couple. You know, I forgot. We forgot. That's Lurker said. You know, he, I think he's absolutely amazing, like you are, and you guys have a great match, and you have to watch each other's back, and you have to go ahead and use some common sense in your approach, and do your best.
yeah. I mean, like I
That's
said, we're still gonna continue. It's just that, I mean, like you said, everybody has their own opinion, and this is just how I've seen it. That's why I didn't want to say it, but I just kind of been quiet.
well.
I've been quiet, but I haven't been quiet because
I don't.
we are doing things behind the scenes.
I
Just because
understand
you
that.
don't see me, don't think that we're just
No,
sitting around. We
no.
do go into some. We have been going. We just went to an awesome place the other day. Not too long ago, and there's still more. So, um, but I think what I'm just gonna do is just to keep on. I'm gonna keep on going, of course, and just I guess just it's just sad. It's just sad that I came all this way and come to find out all this. It was cool when I was visiting because I really didn't know everything, and now that I live here, this beautiful place, San Antonio, uh, haunted place, history, everything, the land, and it's just a shame that we have people that are just trashing it like that.
The people that are going to be responsible are the ones that are going to handle it. The other people are the ones that are going to continue to go about their business. They're going to continue to have their belief system, and they're going to carry on their investigations like they've done in the past. And that too shall pass. So the stuff that we're talking about going on down there right now, that too will pass. And it's going to have nothing to do with us. It will be taken care of.
Yeah,
And if it's taken care of down here, and when we talked about Robert, he's contained. You know, uh, People can't touch Robert. Okay, he's totally enclosed. There's like probably I don't know how many cameras on him, and things like that, and people that come in there, they're just curious. And I think that curiosity, you go down, you talk about the past, and curiosity killed the cat. So, depends on how curious you want to be. And the people that come down there to see what's going on down in New Orleans right now, or excuse me, San Antonio, is the same thing that went on in New Orleans, where
Yep.
you combine it all together and you got thermonuclear war.
Yeah, someone had posted that earlier on one of my deals and said, you bring that dog to one of the most haunted cities in Texas.
Whatever. It, we have our own business to attend to. You have your own businesses that you attend to with Lurker and whoever else you get to go. And you do things the way you see fit, the way you believe. And everybody's the same. We can't go ahead and change all this. I don't think it's too big.
Money is
I
too big. The draw, the draw of the mighty dollar is too big.
so any
That's pretty
closing
cool.
thoughts? Any closing thoughts? Put them down there. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here anymore. Some of these people that are in here, I don't know. Who's DK again? We don't know who DK is.
It's off of my YouTube, I think.
Yeah, he is. That's for sure.
Yeah, we'll be sure to go follow Texas Race Hunters on YouTube. Subscribe to it. Even that, man. I mean, there's only like 200 subscribers on there because I really don't push it. But it just Texas Race Hunters on Facebook. That way you can see I would say some real investigations. You like some thrills and everything. We get them.
Is there anything else? Anything else you want to bring up now before we close?
No, I mean that's about it. I mean, for me, like I said, we're just going along. It's just this is what these podcasts are for. I mean, a podcast is to bring on, you can use your platform to bring some issues that people don't want to talk about. And you have a platform. Of course, I have my platform, and I know on mine I can say whatever I want. So I'm not under anybody or scared to say anything because I don't want to step on nobody's toes. That's why I created my own. And
Anything that we said tonight is our opinions anyway.
yeah, and
we're entitled to that according to the Constitution.
And so that's what it's for. I mean, to bring light into some things. We bring knowledge, we bring light, it's like news. We're real news. So
there's a lot of people that didn't know Annabelle's down there. Really, seriously.
Yeah, she's like 30 minutes from here. Maybe I should bring her over here to meet my dogs.
Well, I want to go ahead and thank you for coming on tonight. It was.
Hey, what if we put the cloak on her?
Put the cloak? No, don't bring that cloak.
Lurker will do it.
Lurker would do it. Lurker, where are you? He's probably getting ready to go to work now. But it's been great, and thank you very much for being here, and thank you everybody in the chat that's been here. If you want to hang around for a couple minutes, we'll go ahead and we'll chit chat for a minute. And everybody that's been here, thanks again. Be sure to stop in Supernatural Link. I won't be on till Wednesday, and that's when Spirit Connect. And that's another issue that we could bring up very easily here tonight as far as ITC and Spirit Box communication, because there's a lot of things that happen in that field too that are highly opinionated. So everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you all next week. Thanks for being here.
So thanks for having me on. Finally got on here.
Thanks.
Cost me a lot of money, but it's all right.
Well, we're not going to. It was all cash too. There's no check. Thank you very much, Anthony. I appreciate it. Everybody have a great evening. Bye-bye.